Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by saying 30 years ago, ladies and gentlemen, so the 30 years ago children, this is what we play. We play with the bottle caps, we play with the finger games, and we play all sorts of, yeah, those were the days, and this is how we socialize together. But today, ladies and gentlemen, children don't play this anymore. And how many of us can actually relate to it that our children are spending more time with our device compared to spending time with us? How many of you guys agree with me on this particular statement? How many times yes in the chat group right now for me, please? Yeah, thank you, Jasmine. Thank you, LV. Yes, our children is spending a little bit more time with the device than with us, especially inside their room on their own. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we know that this is actually not good. Spending too much time on the devices is not good. But to what degree that we understand that is actually not good? To really understand that, ladies and gentlemen, let's understand it in a more holistic picture. Let me start talking about earth pollution first. Now, on earth, we have water pollution, we have air pollution, we have noise pollution over here. But there is another type of pollution that we're not even aware about. It's called the EMF radiation pollution. EMF stands for electromagnetic fields. What is really meaning here is this, ladies and gentlemen, that our phones that we use on a day-to-day basis remit out an unwanted energy, or some people call it the radiation that can be harmful to our body over here. Now, why do we call it pollution, ladies and gentlemen? Now, do me a favor, guys. Just look around in your room that you're sitting in right now very quickly. Just look around your room and calculate how many electronic devices that you see, including the lights, including your handphone, including your laptops that you are in front of. How many electronic devices that you see? Can you help me type a number in the chat group? If you see 5 devices, can you help me type 5? If you see 10 devices, can you help me type 10 in the chat group over here? LV says that he's surrounded by 8 devices. And I can tell you, thank you, LV, for the answer. What about the rest of you guys? How many devices are surrounding you? In my room over here is no less than 10 devices that we are talking about that is actually surrounding us. Jasmine is saying 7 devices. Wow, guys, do you know that you are already surrounded in the EMF radiation pollution environment over here? Most people know about handphone, but guys, the radiation from a handphone, but most people don't know that your laptop emits out the same amount of radiation of your handphone, and the air cons that you're enjoying is emit out the same amount of radiation, and even your LED lights, ladies and gentlemen, is actually full of high radiation as well. Now, guys, so because of this, is very, very important for us to make the correct decision to make sure to protect our family in a way that will keep them safe in an environment. Now, guys, let me just connect with all of you guys here a little bit over here. You can see that there are 8 electronic devices on screen over here. Guys, can you just type your answers in the chat group? Let me connect with you a little bit over here. How many of this device that you see on screen is the device that you do not have at your home? Just type your answers in the chat group real quick for me. For example, if you don't have one device, for example, you don't have an induction cooker at home, 1 out of 8 devices, just type 1 in the chat group right now for me, please. LV say all plus a few more. Yeah, thank you very much. Jasmine say 1, all at home. Wow, thank you so much for your response. The guys, I want to tell you this, yeah. My mother always tell me this, don't buy house below high tension wire. And I asked my mother, why is that so, mom? Because she says it's full of radiation. But a lot of us don't realize one thing. If you have 7 out of 8 item or 8 out of 8 item over here, you are already living in a house below high tension wire in the modern days environment already. Much like the picture that you're seeing, the video that you're seeing over here. So, ladies and gentlemen, some people may be asking me, Marcus, show me the proof. Why do you say so? So, in order to show you the proof over here, allow me to share with you the negative effect of electromagnetic disturbance over here. To show you that, ladies and gentlemen, let's listen to what WHO has to say. Now, this is a press release that's been released by WHO in 2011, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, quite some time ago. And this is what it says. The WHO/International Agency for Research on Cancer has classified radio frequency electromagnetic fields as possibly carcinogenic. Now, carcinogenic means cancer-causing, yeah, to human under the grouping of 2B. Now, based on the increased risk for glioma, what is glioma? Glioma is a malignant type of brain cancer associated with wireless phone use over here. Now, guys, what is this particular statement is really saying here is this. If I were to summarize it, what it's really saying is this particular device over here has the potential to cause brain tumor over here. Not only this device, the laptops that we are using at home can potentially give you a carcinogenic situation as well, even the LED lights as well. Everything electronic in our house is possibly carcinogenic for all of us. Now, guys, allow me to share with you two real-life cases that actually happened to my colleague and their friends over here. And these are just two real-life cases, and let me share with you the case of Cindy over here first. Cindy is a colleague of mine, not a real name, and one of our friends asked, hey, Cindy, can you come over to my husband's factory? My husband has been getting sick lately, and can you do the demo thing and do the scan in my husband's factory so that I know whether is it because of EMF that my husband is sick? So Cindy went over to the factory and saw the factory. And the first thing that she observed is this, that her husband's office is right next to the power room. You know, the power room that basically powered the entire factory, right? So a bit suspicious. So she continued on to do the demo. And after the demo later, she realized, wow, the radiation level is very, very high. So Cindy said to her friend, you got to buy an anti-radiation device for yourself. And a friend brought the anti-radiation device, emGuarde. And after that, and Cindy was just a little curious and started asking the friend, hey, my friend, you don't mind me asking a little bit, yeah? Since we're such a close friend, can I ask what happened to your husband? And then the friend say, Cindy, since we're such a close friend, I don't mind telling you. My husband went for a checkup with the doctor and came back. The report says he has gotten glioma over here, brain tumor. Wow. And the minute they understand that, they started counting backward and they realized that the husband has been sitting in the office for the last 8 years, ladies and gentlemen. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we are really saying to all of you guys over here is that the EMF, it is now what I call the silent killer. It is very, very important to keep our family safe and keep our family protected over here. The second example is even more disturbing, ladies and gentlemen. Another colleague of mine by the name of Jeanette, not her real name. And Jeanette has got a friend, and she just bought a house and she's got a very nice big TV room. Just so you know, ladies and gentlemen, in case you don't know, that the TV room in your house or the TV area in your house is consistently the area with the highest level of radiation, simply because the concentration of all the electronic gadgets is usually in that particular area itself. Same goes to Jeanette's friend over here. Jeanette's friend was asking, hey, Jeanette, can you come over to my house? Yeah, because my kids has been getting sick lately, especially my baby boy over there. Can you do a bit of a demo device and demo test and see whether is it high in radiation, my TV room? Jeanette went over to that particular house, a very big house of the friend, and actually did the demo. And after she did the demo, wow, the radiation level is very high. Jeanette was asking the friend, please get an anti-radiation device. And the friend did. And after the friend bought the anti-radiation device over here, and Jeanette was asking the friend, hey, don't mind me asking for a bit. You were telling me that your children has been getting sick lately, yeah? Yes, especially my baby boy over here, my toddler, yeah? So can I just check with you? Jeanette was saying, can I just check with you for a while? Normally, where do you keep your baby boy most of the time? Where does he hang around most of the time? And then the friend say, I keep my baby boy basically in the TV room. Why do you keep your baby in the TV room? It's full of radiation. Now, because the TV room is quiet enough for me to keep him safe and sound asleep over here. No, it's full of radiation. Please bring your baby for a checkup. And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, and after Jeanette's friend brought the baby for a checkup and the report came back, even the baby, ladies and gentlemen, has also gotten glioma as well. Very, very disturbing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to share with you, there is a doctor by the name of Dr. Pinky over here, and this is the book that she has actually written, and the book has a very catchy title. It's called Stop Cooking Your Kid's Brain Over Here. And just a couple of months ago, I was in the convention. It's called EEW, the last EEW, where Dr. Pinky herself was on the stage. And I'm a big fan of her work over here. In fact, Dr. Pinky is such an inspiring doctor that she has armed herself with the knowledge of the danger of the EMF. And she has this particular mission of spreading the awareness to everybody. And if you have not read this book, ladies and gentlemen, or buy this book, I highly recommend you buy it as well. And through this particular seminar, and I've also discovered one thing, ladies and gentlemen. Did you know that the brain tumor among children has increased by 300% in the last 20 years? Guys, you hear me correctly, it's 300%, yeah? Not 30%, not 3%. Yeah? It's 300% in the last 20 years. Now, guys, I was actually in a small island a couple of months ago in Malaysia called Penang, and I was presenting to a group of 15 people. And as I was sharing this particular statistic, one of the parents sitting right in front just raised her hand and interrupted my talk and said, hey, Marcus, can I just comment a little bit about the statistic that you mentioned over here? I said, sure. I was quite surprised. Someone interrupted me, right? I said, sure. What is your name, ma'am? She said, my name is Nancy, and I'm a piano teacher. I've got a student of mine who've actually gotten glioma, brain tumor over here. And I just want to share with you that one day I went over to the hospital to visit my student. who has gotten brain tumor. And I went into the cancer ward and visit him, and I was shocked as I entered into the cancer ward. The reason why I was shocked is because the cancer ward is full of children, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, immediately I got goosebumps. And that particular parent, Nancy, herself was actually the first person that came up and bought an anti-radiation device. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to appeal and actually share with all of us over here. Can you help me type an answer in the chat group? How many of us here will say that we absolutely love our family members over here? Go ahead and type yes in the chat group if you love your family members. Come, guys, connect with me. If you love your family member, help me type yes in the chat group. Thank you, LV, for your response. What about the rest of you guys? Thank you. Yeah, from 𝐿 over here. If we love our family member, ladies and gentlemen, one of the things that we must provide for them, see, this is what we need to provide for our children, right? We must provide education, food, and shelter. And not only that, we need to provide protection for all our family members over here. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, for some of you guys who have not bought into an emGuarde over here, I would challenge all of you guys at the end of the talk here today, make a decision and protect your family with an emGuarde device over here. Now, guys, allow me to share. Some people may say, Marcus, this is 2011. Do you have anything a little bit more current over here? Because this is like more than 14 years ago. Yes, I do, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to share with you this article that's actually came out from May 19, 2025. Now, for some of you guys who would like to go into the internet and do some check on EMF itself, allow me to manage your expectations, guys. If you go online and actually do some check, and generally speaking, you have two major camps on the material that you will be actually, the information that you'll be getting on EMF. Camp number one is what I call the government camp, or let me put in short form, G camp. Now, the government camp usually will tell you, oh, there is no real danger that is associated with EMF. I understand why the government always says so, simply because they can't shut down a Panasonic factory just like that overnight and lay off 2,000 people, right? I understand that. But there is another camp, is also known as the activist camp. And these are the camp that is actually full of the practitioner, the activists, and also the doctors who know the evidence of the danger of EMF over here. That has been posing lots and lots of research online over here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when you go online, doesn't matter which camp of information that you got. And to me, this is an article that's been published by WHO just a couple of months ago. And to me, this particular article is good enough to share, to show me that is enough danger associated with EMF that we need to take action to make sure our family is safe. Let me share with you. This article is quite long. Bear with me for a while. I'm going to read it out. Yeah, and the article title says, WHO has funded a study that finds EMF exposure increase the incidence of cancer. And let me just read out. The WHO-backed study has found strong evidence linking cell phone radiation to cancer in lab animals. All right, they tested it on lab animals. There are links between cell phone radiation and two types of cancer in lab animals. All right, and a finding of this systematic review indicate that there is evidence of the EMF exposure increases the incidence of cancer in experimental animals with the certainty of evidence. COE stands for certainty of evidence over here. Nothing ambiguous about it. Certain, all right? Being strongest for two types of tumor, which is one is actually malignant heart schwannomas, which is nerve tumor, and another one is glioma tumor of the brain. Now, guys, tumor of the brain is something that's been reported 14 years ago that we found the link. And right now, they even discovered the latest tumor is actually the nerve tumor is associated with EMF over here as well. Guys, mark my word for it. If given another 10 years, you'll see a lot more other tumors that will be associated with the danger of EMF over here. Guys, for some of you guys who have a lot of knowledge on cancer over here, now a lot of people will tend to agree with me. Usually cancer is associated with our lifestyle. That means we have not been eating right, we have not been exercising right, we've been getting a lot of stress. It's all lifestyle related. But guys, it is scary to actually know, even you have all the right style, eat right and exercise right, the environment around you could possibly cause brain tumor and various type of cancer that we're talking about over here, which is why it is so important to keep our family protected. The author go on to conclude the result of this systematic review provide high and moderate COE certainty of evidence for several cancer sites relevant to cancer hazard identification for human being. Guys, this is very clear cut. EMF poses a real life threat. It is the silent killer that needs to be eliminated. Now, guys, not everything is so severe, ladies and gentlemen. Some of the problems, it is very, very mild in nature. Of course, different individual responds to EMF very, very differently. For some people, it could be very severe. For some people, it could be as simple as a headache. Let me just introduce you to EMF Safety Network. A group of experts, what they did is this. They gathered 871 people, all right, and expose them in a high radiation environment, where, which is basically the household item, much like the one that I showed to you guys earlier on in the presentation. And after all the expose of these household electronic gadgets that we're talking about, after a test period, they interviewed these 800 old people, and these are the top 5 response that they have gotten, from this particular test. Now, guys, what I'm going to do here is this. I'm going to read out the top 5 response over here. You'll do me a favor, okay? If you have experience on this top 5 response, you have me type yes in the chat group for me, please, okay? And for some of you guys who are already a emGuarde user over here, if you have this particular sensation prior to using emGuarde, help me type yes in the chat group for me also, okay? Can you all do that for me? All right, there, guys. Let me just read it out one by one, yeah? Check this out. 71% of the 871 people reported after the test period later, they have sleep problem. How many of you guys here struggle with sleeping? You got sleep problem yourself? Go ahead and type yes in the chat group right now for me, please. And for some of us, emGuarde user, prior to using the emGuarde, if you have this particular problem, go ahead and type yes for me, please, over here. While you guys are warming up and to type the yes over here, just so you know, sleeping, there is a problem, there's a big spectrum. From the extreme left, which is cannot sleep, all the way to I can sleep but very light sleeper, you don't get a lot of deep sleep. And this entire series here is a spectrum of sleep problem over here. If you are able to sleep but your friends and family members are struggling with this particular problem, and the emGuarde is absolutely the device that you wanted to use. Guys, allow me to share with you. Now, sleeping is the #1 testimony that we get from a lot of people who after using this device. I want to tell you there is a particular story of a lovely lady by the name of Jess, and she's from Penang. And I remember meeting Jess one day, and then after doing the demo and after doing the presentation, and she says, Marcus, you know what? Can you come over to my house and do the demo test? Because why? We just recently bought into this very big house, the bungalow, and I've not been sleeping ever since I moved into this house. I said, sure. I went over to her house and I did the test. After I did the test over here, in a particular area that is right next to the greens, the hills, strange. Normally, the one that is closest to the hill, you have the lowest level of radiation because it's close to the nature. But after I sweep the entire house, I say this particular area over here in the hill, I seem to actually detect a high level of radiation. Is there any high tension cable right on top of the hill? And the husband actually interrupted and said, yes, there is one right on top of the hill, but it's not visible to the eye because it's very far away. Could it be that? Actually, Jess asked me, I say, sure, absolutely. Yeah, the high tension cable, it is also causing a lot of radiation and causing a lot of bad sleeping. Now, guys, just to give you some perspective over here, how much Jess was actually struggling. She mentioned to me that every day she cannot sleep. And not only that she cannot sleep, sometimes she wake up in the middle of the night hugging her pillow, trying to actually go into sleep again, but cannot sleep. And she went even so severe to the extent that of actually engaging a feng shui master as well. The feng shui master come over to the house and after check all the feng shui and check her birth date, and then the feng shui master is saying you're not suitable to stay in this particular house over here. Went to that particular extent, to that level. And guess what? I actually was mentioning to Jess, you've got to actually have a device for yourself. And trust me, give it a go, and hopefully you'll be able to sleep well. And she bought the emGuarde device and she on it. The first day is adjustment period. Nothing very much happened. The second day, immediately after that until today, almost 2 months already, ladies and gentlemen. Believe it or not, I started talking to Jess again. I say, how was it? She says on the second day onwards until today, which is 2 months later, she's able to sleep every single day, sweet and sound. Wow, guys. Sleeping is the #1 testimony that we're talking about. If you have any friends and family members who cannot sleep, this is the device that you want to keep in your house and have it on to harmonize the environment, the radiation level. Number 2, 64% of the 871 people reported fatigue. How many of you guys inside the room here feel that you're easily tired, easily fatigued, especially after the vaccine jab? Go ahead and type yes in the chat group for me if you feel easily tired nowadays. Not like before pandemic. Before pandemic, our energy level is a bit better. Easily fatigued, help me type yes in the chat group right now for me, please. Or some of us existing emGuarde user over here, if you have fatigue, easily fatigued prior to actually using the emGuarde itself, go ahead and type yes in the chat group right now for me, please, as well. Thank you. Thank you, Jasmine. Guys, I want to tell you this. Personally, I'm 46 years old right now, entering my 50-year-old, late 40s already, LV as well, right after the jab, okay? entering the 50-year-old range already. Last year, before I used the emGuarde, wow, I remember after meeting 2 clients, wow, immediately I feel very tired and exhausted already. So I don't know what's happening to me. Maybe I'm getting old. That's why I'm getting fatigued. But guys, actually, no. Today, after using emGuarde, people call me Superman because on average, I meet about 3 to 6 people. Believe it or not, early in the morning, I start my first appointment already today. And right after this talk over here, I got another evening appointment to finish off my day. On average, 3 to 6 people. And people are now calling me Superman, all because of after using emGuarde, my energy level is a lot better. Number 3, 61% of the 871 people reported concentration and memory and learning problem. How many of you guys feel that your memory nowadays is not as good as before? You have difficulty remembering people's name as well. So if that is you, ladies and gentlemen, help me type yes in the chat group right now for me, please. Go ahead. Most people will actually tell me this, Marcus. Wow, I tell you, maybe because age is catching up. So that's why my memory is not so good. Guys, believe it or not, yeah, it has a lot to do with the EMF environment. Yeah, electromagnetic field, high EMF environment around you. In the next slide, you'll understand what I mean over here. All right. Next, 60% of the 871 people reported stress and anxiety. Yeah, how many of you guys here experience stress or anxiety over here? Help me type yes in the chat group right now for me, please, guys. Go ahead. Stress and anxiety, Jasmine, yes. And LV as well, yes, anxiety. Last but not least, 52% of the 871 people reported headaches. How many of you guys experience headache consistently as well? Go ahead and type yes in the chat group right now for me, please. Now, headache. I used to have a colleague and he was struggling with headache almost of the time. In fact, he was saying that he's got migraine headache every single week. And after using the emGuarde, the migraine actually completely disappeared. He is so sensitive to the EMF, radiation, the pollution. Yeah? Now, I remember one day I was having an appointment together with him, and we saw 5 handphones on the table. Nobody was on the handphone. Not on the handphone, they were just putting on the table. 5 handphones on the table, ladies and gentlemen. He was already experiencing headache. And as soon as I switched on the emGuarde for about 10 minutes, he said the headache actually disappeared. Now, ladies and gentlemen, looking at the response over here, I can see that a lot of people have on average about 3 out of 5 items over here. Now, guys, if you have 3 out of 5 items, you are already 800 and the member 872 test subject member already. So that's why it is very important to make sure to have your family protected with the emGuarde. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the next slide, I want to introduce you to Dr. Magda Harvest. And Dr. Magda Harvest is a professor and also a doctor from Canada. And she did a test. Do you know that, ladies and gentlemen, that a healthy red blood cell actually look like this? Very sparse, very separated. And she did a test. 70 minutes to be on your laptops or your desktop over here. Your red blood cell will start to stick together like a happy family over here. Now, guys, I don't need to convince you. When they start to stick together, blood circulation become better off or become worse off over here. Definitely worse off that we're talking about. So when you have a blood circulation that is actually worse off, and all sorts of sickness will actually come to you. And what is even more scary here is this, guys. 10 minutes of using your mobile phone. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to see how many of you guys use your mobile phone for at least 10 minutes per day. And help me type yes in the chat group right now for me, please. Go ahead. How many of you guys actually, yes, for LV, yes, the whole day for Jasmine. What about the rest of you guys? At least 10 minutes a day, your mobile phone. At least use 10 minutes per day over here. Now, for all of you guys who use a mobile phone for at least 10 minutes, and your red blood cells will actually clump up together, they stack on top of each other. And there's a scientific, thank you, Gopal. There's a scientific name for that as well. It's actually called rouleau formation over here. Now, why there's a name for it, ladies and gentlemen? If you have any friends who are doctors, ask them. Now, the reason why there's a name for that is because all cancer patients, let me repeat, all cancer patients, their blood sample actually looks like this rouleau formation over here. Now, guys, which means what, guys? When we wake up in the morning, we play our phone for 10 minutes over here, our blood sample already mirroring a cancer patient already. Whether it actually become a terminal cancer or not is a separate matter, but it's already scary enough to know that our kids at their house and the kid inside their room itself has already been forming a rouleau formation over here. Dr. Magda Havas went on by saying here, this actually causes a few symptoms, and one of them is actually poor in circulation. And we have a lot of people, in fact, on my own team, we have 3 reported cases of people with vertigo problem, eardrum imbalance. And after using the emGuarde, a lot of people actually give up and give a testimony that they have greatly improved on the condition. And some even claim that they have completely recovered from their vertigo issue. So ladies and gentlemen, if you have any friends or family members with such an issue over here, highly recommend to use an emGuarde machine over here. This also causes low oxygen transport. When our cell got low oxygen transport, it basically means heading towards the cancerous zone. This also causes headache and fatigue, difficulty concentration, and numbness and tingling sensation as well. Now, guys, this particular EMF is extremely, extremely dangerous to another group of people. And the group of people that we're talking about is actually young children. The small children is exceptionally vulnerable to this. How do I know that, ladies and gentlemen? Let's listen to Dr. Satminder, what he has to say about EMF danger to the children. Check this out.
The children's brain, like the hypothalamus, it tends to absorb 1.5 to 2 times more electromagnetic fields than an adult. But if you look at the child's bone marrow, it absorbs amazing 10 times more electromagnetic radiation than an adult. The brain is much more absorbent, the skull is thinner, and because the relative size is smaller, if I give you the same dosage, your smaller tissue is going to absorb more than the bigger tissue. The first thing you have to do is keep the appliance that's emitting the radiation further apart from you, like handphones, off all power points when they're not in use. Number 3, you could use electromagnetic field harmonizers, which will balance out the radiation side effects from the appliance.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big hand for this particular video as well. Now that we understand this a little bit more, ladies and gentlemen, yeah. So that's why it is very, very important to make sure that we have our children protected as well. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. With all these problems that we are talking about over here, allow me to introduce to you emGuarde. And this particular beautiful machine here has literally changed my lifestyle over here. And this is a machine we're talking about. It's only 430 grams. If I'm not mistaken, it's actually even lighter weight than the latest iPhone as well. Yeah, the latest iPhone Pro that we're talking about. It's only 430 grams. Now, for some of you guys who are doing this particular business on a part-time basis or doing this business on a full-time basis, this business is much easier to do compared to a Wi-Fi. Even Wi-Fi, you have to put wiring and stuff like that. You don't have to for this. Now, guys, allow me to share with you the official video on how to use the emGuarde. Check this out.
Your home is your sanctuary, a place of comfort, wellness, and security for your family. Today, we're using more digital and electronic devices. While they bring convenience and enjoyment, these devices also emit electromagnetic energies constantly during use. Invisible to our eyes, these electromagnetic energies affect the environment around us. As a result, we're exposed to these types of energies day in, day out. Introducing emGuarde, a patented technology by emGuarde. When turned on, emGuarde harmonizes targeted electromagnetic noise radiation within 1 gigahertz, creating a defense zone of 8 to a dedicated USB port, whether you're on the go, at work. emGuarde is designed to integrate seamlessly in any situation. You can now enjoy the benefits of technology without worrying about any potential risk. Protect your family's health and well-being. Contact your emGuarde distributor today. emGuarde. Change your environment, change your life.
Change your environment, change your life. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause for this particular video over here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, now that we know that there is a solution in the market over here, allow me to also share with you a live test video that is actually done by Dr. Roland Victor over here on the before and after. Just now you saw what Dr. Magda Havas has shown you. Allow me to share with you this particular video, the specific video for it. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this video.
So what we can do is, you get on your phone for maybe close to about half an hour, holding it and then we'll check again and see how does the capillary blood look like.
It looked like my first blood test result was clean, with no signs of blood clotting or blood clumps. But would just 30 minutes of cell phone usage really do any harm at all to my body? I hope not. Let's find out.
Let's have a look. So you can see all the cells now being stacked. See, all of them are, we cannot see those loose cells. You can see most of the cells now all stacked.
Bumped up together, right?
Exactly. Just look at that. The big message is always to try to reduce our exposure. It's almost impossible not to use, but try to be a bit more cautious in the usage.
So the thing is, I know you say it's better to reduce. It's impossible for somebody like me. And I'm sure there's lots of people out there that also need to be holding their phones. So is there anything I can do?
This is the device that can actually help harmonize your electromagnetic frequency wave. And you want to see how it works?
Sure.
Come.
With the Environment Harmoniser turned on beside me, Dr. Roland and I proceeded to do a third blood test to see just how well this technology supposedly suppresses EMI. Okay, so this looks completely different to the last test, doesn't it?
Yep. Clearly looks different, lesser rule of formation.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. We can see that there's a very, very big difference over here. Now, guys, I also want to share with all of you guys over here, the emGuarde. Unlike any other product outside over here, ladies and gentlemen, is actually a patented technology over here, and we do not have any direct competitor right now. That means we do not have any other company with the same technology outside in the market over here. Now, we don't have any direct competitor, but we do have some indirect competitor as well. Now, what are some of the indirect competitor? We do have people who have the claim that if you put your stickers into your handphone over here, it can actually reduce down the EMF. Now, guys, I have those as well. I've actually tested it. It doesn't really quite work. Yeah, we also do have some indirect competitor who claim that you take the supplements and then after that you are strong against radiation. I don't know whether it works or not. I've never tried it. Also, some indirect competitor who claim that you have some device that you do some blow your entire body, it reduces radiation. Now, guys, with due respect, I have not tried this product. I don't know whether it works or not. But in good faith, even though if it works, ladies and gentlemen, these are what we call the habitually invasive product. What do you mean by habitually invasive? You have to change your daily habit in order to use the product. For example, the blower device that I was talking about just now. Now, maybe if you use the machine yourself, but use the device. But try asking your spouse to use it. Your spouse is not going to use it. Try asking your children to use it. They're not going to use it. Yeah. Whereas this particular device over here, you don't have to change any habit. It uses a Wi-Fi concept, ladies and gentlemen. All you need to do is to put it on, and it protects up to 1,000 over square feet or 100 over square meter that we're talking about of space. Generally speaking, on an average size home, one device is sufficient to cover your entire house itself. So that's why, ladies and gentlemen, this particular product is such an amazing product, and there is an amazing business opportunity I'm about to share with all of you guys very, very soon. Now, guys, this is FCC. FCC stands for Federal Communications Commissions of the United States, and they are basically the one that guides the correct level of radiation. I mean, what is the acceptable level of radiation and what is not acceptable level of radiation? And one of the things that has been highlighted, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you another demo device as well, besides the one with Dr. Roland Victor. Now, this particular time, I want to bring your attention over to our brain frequency. These are our megahertz of our brain, our entire body frequency. But let me just zoom in and focus on these two. Our brain frequency is about 72 megahertz. Guys, this is one of the most important frequency that need to be protected at all time because our brain resonates with 72 megahertz. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to actually share with you guys another video to one of my early teacher. When I first come into the business 12 months ago, I want to introduce you to Egbert. And Egbert is one of my early teacher who have actually shown me how to do a presentation and done this particular demo live in person for me as well. So ladies and gentlemen, please sit back, relax, and enjoy the demo of Mr. Egbert over here. Remember, 72 megahertz is very important. You get to see it from this particular device. Check this out.
Hey guys, Egbert here, and I would like to show you a very simple presentation about the emGuarde. All right, so the emGuarde is a environment harmonizer capable of suppressing the e-noises that are being produced by your electronic gadgets. Now, if you're wondering what an e-noise is, according to PubMed, e-noise is defined as signal from electronic products and instruments that emit radiation and electromagnetic fields. It includes not only the acoustic but also the non-acoustic noises. And if you're wondering what the non-acoustic noises, it means that the noises that we are unable to audibly hear. Hence, I have a very special detector called a 𝐏𝐫𝐨𝐝. So a 𝐏𝐫𝐨 is called a software-defined radio, where it's able to turn all of these inaudible e-noises into something that we can experience. So this is how it looks like, and let me show you guys. Let me show you how it works. All right, so it operates with an antenna, and as soon as I turn it on, as you can see, there is basically a sort of decibel reading for the noises, all right? And you see that there's a green waterfall spectrum. And if you're wondering what these e-noises sound like, let me show you. Let me turn on the volume. My goodness, guys, these
Now, guys, you can see that it's on the 72 megahertz that we're talking about. That's exactly the brain frequency that need to be protected. There you go. This is 72 megahertz. Yeah, back to the video.
noises are absolutely uncomfortable to hear. You hear them, and guys, it's absolutely crazy. All right. So over here, I'm going to show you exactly what the emGuarde does. Right. At the moment, the emGuarde is not plugged in. Okay. But I'm going to plug it in right now, and you're going to see firsthand how these e-noises are immediately suppressed by emGuarde. So over here, the cable, in 3, 2, 1, go. Immediately. A reading here has dropped drastically, right? So I'm going to show you another reference. I'm going to unplug the emGuarde again, and we're going to see again how noisy these e-noises are. Man, that's absolutely crazy. All right, so I'm going to plug the emGuarde in. I'm going to make sure that I am protected from all of these e-noises that are capable of carrying radiation from our electronic gadgets. So a very simple presentation to showcase how the emGuarde works using the amazing detector 𝐏𝐫𝐨𝐝. So I hope after this video, guys, it has perhaps raised some sort of awareness in terms of why emGuarde is necessary in today's 21st century. All right, change your environment, change your life, get an emGuarde, and protect yourselves from these e-noises. 𝐏𝐫𝐿 here, take care.
Thank you so much, 𝐏𝐵𝐿. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause for his contribution for this particular video itself. Now, one final video I want to share with all of you guys. What about hotels? Some people ask me, what is the radiation environment in a hotel? Do you think hotel radiation is high or low, ladies and gentlemen? Go ahead and type your answers in the chat group for me, please. What do you all think? High or low in radiation for hotels? What do you all think? Yes? Let me show to all of you guys over here. Check this out.
So I want you guys to see. Just zoom in on the phone, Ben. You can just take a look at this. On this room, it's unbelievable. Take a look at the chart. It is crazy, absolutely crazy. We have not seen this anywhere else. Okay. So now, what I want to find out is, if we have the emGuarde, what can it do to us, and what can it do for us? So it's not connected. Now, I'm going to connect to the SDR software. I'm going to turn it on. In 3, 2, 1.
Immediately it drops, guys. Can you all see?
Look at the wave spectrum. It's gone down. I'm going to unplug the emGuarde. All right. Take a look at the suppression, guys. Here, take a look at the suppression. Boom. with the emGuarde turned on.
Immediately you can see the difference over here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me just go back to this slide over here. The people ask me how far is the radius protection over here? Now, the emGuarde covers up to 4-meter radius, ladies and gentlemen. Now, guys, 4-meter radius is actually 540 square feet or 54 square meter that we're talking about over here. Some people may ask me, Marcus, how do I know it's really 540 square feet? We have actually done a test report together with University Science Malaysia, one of the most prominent university in Malaysia. We engaged Dr. Yamanfai to do the test report for range for us as well. What Dr. Yamanfai did over here is this. He went to all these places over here, the classrooms in the university. He went into the houses, the living room in the sample houses as well. He even went to labs and actually test the range. And he discovered one thing. If your house do not have a lot of wall blockages, and he discovered one thing. If your house do not have a lot of wall blockages over here, now people ask me, Marcus, over the wall, can it actually go through? Okay, definitely we can, because it uses a Wi-Fi concept over here, right? It goes through wall as well. Now, but what Dr. Yamanfai discovered here is this. If your house do not have a lot of wall blockages over here, it went as far as 6-meter coverage as well. Yeah, as far as 6-meter coverage. And 6-meter coverage is 6-meter radius is actually 1,220 square feet or 120 square meter. Yeah, on average, it's about 50 to 120 square meter. In square feet form, ladies and gentlemen, it's about 1,000 to 1,600 square feet. I've actually measured many houses, and some of the houses even go as far as 1,600 square feet if they do not have a lot of wall blockages with them. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have already concluded the first part of my segment over here. And normally I'll take a couple of questions, but today we're slightly off with our time over here. Allow me to bring up the most important question, the most common question that people ask me here is this: how much is it, Marcus? Yeah, for this particular device. Now, for some of you guys, in Malaysia, ladies and gentlemen, because emGuarde has already been officially launched, and whenever the product is officially launched in your respective country over here, ladies and gentlemen, then you will have actually installment scheme as well. Now, for some of you guys, like in India, emGuarde is not officially launched yet. You will not be able to have an installment scheme. Then you have to buy it at a full purchase price. But allow me to share this. Most people, they ask me, Marcus, how much is it? And I always like to share with them, it's about plus minus about $60 per month. You can actually have this particular device already. Now, to put it in perspective, $60 per month that we're talking about is about $2 per day. And to put things in perspective, it's actually cheaper than a breakfast that we're talking about. So this is actually very affordable. Now, for $60 a month that we're talking about over here with the installment scheme, we can have our entire family protected over here. Now, what other better thing than to have this particular device? Some people, they may say this to me, Marcus, you know what, I do not want to go for an installment scheme. I want to pay for the full price. Now, what is the full price are we talking about over here? Now, ladies and gentlemen, the full price we are talking about over here is actually about $1,500 that we're talking about over here. Some people may respond to me and say, wow, Marcus, $1,500. Some people may find it expensive. Some people have claimed. Now, guys, allow me to explain something, yeah? Whether it's expensive or not, expensive is a relative term. It depends on what you compare with. Now, to see something is expensive or not, ladies and gentlemen, you've got to compare with something. If I were to compare with this, ladies and gentlemen, if I were to say that $1,500, comparing it with you are being able to actually buy a 1 kilo gold bar, is it expensive or not, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, actually, it's not expensive at all, because a 1 kilo gold bar is almost $100,000. So you got to compare with something to know whether something is expensive or not. Now, guys, allow me to do comparison and to share with all of you guys. Comparison number one is about our health. How much do you value your health? Comparison number two is about doing a business. After these two comparisons, you would agree with me, ladies and gentlemen, that $1,500 is absolutely not expensive at all. Comparison number one, ladies and gentlemen, is about our health. Correct me if I'm wrong for some of us. Now, when we get a little bit older, ladies and gentlemen, we save up what we call our medical fund. And our medical fund is either going to be given to hospital or insurance company, correct? Now, if you got small issue, small problem, maybe about $1,000. If you got big problem, probably about $100,000. But if we were to take the same fund and given to insurance company, it costs only a fraction of that, probably about $60 or $70 a month that we're talking about. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the emGuarde works exactly the same like an insurance policy over here. Guys, it is important for me to recap and to say that it, according to WHO, that the EMF poses a really real danger and really real threat for all of us. And it can possibly be carcinogenic as well. Now, guys, one of the main reasons why we have emGuarde is to protect our family against possible carcinogen, which is possible cancer over here. Some people come over to me and look and say, they say, Marcus, look at me. I'm already 60 over years old. I don't have any cancer. I'm okay. I'm good over here. Now, maybe for you it's good, ladies and gentlemen, but what about your whole family? Correct me if I'm wrong. If either one of our family member gotten cancer over here, it is still our problem over here. Correct me if I'm wrong. So that's why, guys, if I were to put things in perspective over here, this particular price of $1,005 is the price of an iPhone. We buy an iPhone for our children over here, it doesn't protect the family, but we buy an emGuarde over here, it will protect our entire family. So to me, $1,500 is